Hello, today we're going to be doing lead follow-up, chapter 4. The first thing with lead follow-up, you have to realize in this business is the most important aspect of our business. Without follow-up, everything would fall apart. The agents that follow up the best are the agents that make the most money. Because usually it takes follow-up and follow-up and follow-up and follow-up and follow-up, and then it comes to a deal. Now, you have to remember, sometimes you follow up and you get people at the wrong time. So they could be doing groceries, they could be dealing with their kids, they could be in a bad mood. So that's why, even if someone is short when you're following up, and always ask them if it's a good time to talk. Because sometimes it just isn't. You all know that, there's always sometimes that someone calls you and it's just the wrong time. And it's usually a family member. So you always have to remember with lead follow-up, it's hitting them at the right time, being consistent, letting them know that you're interested, and you need to really keep following up until that you can get a deal done with them. So one thing that you should always get in the habit of doing is every day writing 5 personal notes. And this is great for follow-up and a lot of different reasons, just to let people know that you appreciate them. The notes can be written to people in your sphere, to people that you're showing property, to thank them for going out with you and looking at property. After a listing appointment, I always send a thank you note right away, thanking them for the opportunity. Anybody that does anything nice, any nice gestures. And in the book, there's there's 2 pages that you can track that weekly. It asks for the week, and then the 5 people that you sent the notes to and what the message was. And it's excellent if you could start immediately starting good habits and keeping track of these notes. I have some 6 reasons and things that you can send out personal notes for, but I have other slots, and that's part of your homework. Come up with more reasons, and so you have a ton of reasons, and it will be easy for you to figure out who should I send a thank you to today. It's always nice to appreciate somebody, and handwritten notes are one of the most effective things that we do. For lead follow-ups, something that you want to remember with leads, the people that make the most money in the business have very few leads. Their leads are the people that are going to do something in anywhere from a week to 30 days. And then you have the agents that have leads that people are going to be doing things for in a year. It's just ridiculous. So you have to remember that you can get really bogged down in lead follow-up. And a lot of agents hold their leads so tight, and most of them could be just thrown into the garbage can. So it just takes their time. They just shuffle through leads when people aren't even planning on doing anything. So always remember, the best agents' leads are 7 days out. And time after time, when that's tracked with top trainers, they always say that the people that make the most money in this business their leads are immediate leads, not future leads. Even though it's important for your past clients and things like that, because they could be meeting people and to stay in touch with them, you have to realize that that's not a lead that's going to do something today. So when you meet someone that's going to buy a house within the next 30 days, a week to 30 days, you meet a seller that wants to put their house on the market in the next week or 30 days, those are the things that you need to follow up on immediately and daily. So I also put a complete guide to lead follow-up, and this is more for internet leads. Now you're going to realize in this business, internet leads are probably one of the least effective leads that you're going to find. They're people that usually take anywhere from 6 months to a year to incubate. So this is an excellent guide that I have here. It's 21 pages on different ideas that you can do to follow up with people, to try to get them into where they're going to be a lead that's going to be a 7 to 30 day lead. And that's your goal, to try to get as many people into that category. But and then there's things about coming them back to your website and to drive them back with email. Now you remember that it can be a little frustrating with internet leads because it's something that's going to take a little while. So you have to have good systems in place, and you need to come up with a system to start getting in front of those leads that are going to take a long time. So the next thing I have in this, because this is a lot of pages, so you really need to read through this. read through this and really think about it. Read. So for essential systems, like I said, you want days, you want maybe 60 days you would go out 60 days, but you really want to focus on 37 days best. So there's a 30-day follow-up system in here. It's a seller lead, and you can do the same thing, daily follow-up system, 3-day follow-up system. Then there's a weekly follow-up system. And then that's someone that's going to be anywhere from 4 to 6 months out. Then you would do the weekly. If they're going to be 2 months, you're going to be doing every 3 days. And if they're going to be in a month, anywhere from 7 days to a month, you really need to be calling them every day. See when you can set the next appointment. And as soon as you leave that appointment, you should be setting the next appointment. So you really want to try to motivate them. And to get going and get out there, because if they're motivated, you want to be sure that they're not going to go to the other realtor because you're not making time for them. So that's critical. Another thing with lead follow-up, you want to have some kind of system in place. I've heard of, a lot of people put them in the computer, which is great, and put them into like some kind of a system. In RE/MAX, we have that ability. And if you want, my suggestion is to get a notebook with 30 days or 31 days in there that have the different little tabs. And then you have every single day, and then you just get the month. So you have January, 31 tabs, February, 31 tabs, and you can move those 31 tabs around. And then so on. I mean, if you get 2 things of 31 tabs and then all of the months, then if you're in February, you have your 31 tabs, and you have just a sheet of paper that you're taking notes on, you can go right to there and then stick it into one of those days. So for instance, if you're in February, and today's March 1st, you're in March, and you have your 31 tabs, and you have, on the 1st, I'm going to follow up, and you have your paper. When you walk in on March 1st, you know that that's what you need to follow up. And then if, say that you didn't follow up with that on March 1st and you go in on March 2nd, you want to go with the 1st and the 2nd and then put them deeper in your book. So that's an easy system to get going and if you have a question on that, it's pretty easy. If you have a question on that, come and see me. But until you get used to using the computer and making sure the leads are coming out, try to get in a system where it's easy and you're going to do that follow-up. Another big thing with follow-up is expireds. Usually, if they're going to be relisting, they're a lot easier, and the lead follow-up will be a lot shorter than a for sale by owner. Now, a for sale by owner, usually that might take anywhere from 30 to 60 days to get that listed. So if you want to have things to say to them when you're going to be calling them or following up with them, or dropping them. You could even do a drop by and drop them something that would be of value. For some examples, you could drop them a blank contract and say, this is the contract we use in Fort Lauderdale, if you want to read through it so you'll know what to fill out. You could drop them a blank or a net sheet filled in so they can see that there are costs other than the costs involved that pay in the commission. There are other costs. You can ask Martha and Katie for an example of a HUD statement, of complete HUD, and just bring them over a blank HUD and say, this is what it will look like your settlement statement. There's a lot of stuff. You can bring them over stuff on things that like how they can go on Zillow and advertise their house and show them how it works. That they're gonna, even when they are on Zillow, they're gonna have 3 agents under their house. So there's a lot of different items. Get creative. Some people even drop them off aspirins with a little note stating, oh, I know you must be having a headache. Selling your house isn't as easy as you think. Cute little things like that. Come up with your own little strategies. Use that. I really don't mind. Use anything that you're going to want to do to make little systems to follow up. If you're calling for sale by owners and you're going out and taking the time, make sure you have a good follow-up system afterwards. Also included in letters that we'll get to later in the chapter is we have a lot of letters that you can either use or revise to make them more personalized, and just keep sending them little letters. Or you might send them something that I just sold this house. So if you're selling houses in between, send them a little note card. I just sold this house. Say, are you getting sick of doing this? there's a million things that you can do, but the key is follow up in this business. The more you follow up, the more money you'll make. It's probably my weakness, but my husband's best strength. So if you become weak at that, you really need to learn and start doing it, because I'm lucky to have him, because he follows up and never lets anything die. As soon as he has a big thing of leads, he just keeps them in a folder, and he'll call them at least once a week. And daily, if it's something that is going to be having to be, someone, like I said, that's going to be doing something in a week. So you get to take a lot of notes. So when you're following up to that, you can say, oh, how's if they're talking about their kids or their move, you have some notes down. When you're following up, you can bring that up again. So you'll always have something to talk about. Now there is some homework. I want you to be able to create a good follow-up plan and system. I want you to add reasons to add on the thank you note cards, the weekly thank you note cards. Add some more reasons why you should be, or who you could be sending things to, whether you're getting your hair cut and you want to send one to your hairdresser. I love my haircut today. I mean, come up with great ideas, because those people you could add to your sphere, and they're going to be getting little notes from you, and it's very, very, very effective. That's something that would be a long-term effectiveness, but it's just really good habits to get yourself into. Create follow-up letters and items like we just discussed for sale by owners, for expireds. Create little ideas and cute things that you can send out, even to past clients, little things that you can do. And if a buyer or seller ends up listing with somebody else or buying through someone else, make sure you call them back, thank them for giving you the opportunity, and ask them why they chose the other agent and what you can do in the future to improve. Always look to become better. Don't be afraid to do that, because if you find out one thing, it may really help you. I know that I've had a top agent, and she does it constantly, and they ask her, and they tell her straight out, and she always takes it in and makes some changes in her business, and that's why she's as great as she does, because she's not afraid to just make that phone call, as hard as it is sometimes, or how bad you feel about it. And you got to get over things quickly, because there'll be a million people that don't list with you, a million people that don't buy for you, but then there'll be 10 million that do. So you look and try to focus on the good, and always learn from things to get better and improve. Well, thank you. That concludes the lead follow-up. Make sure you read through the guide I gave you. Get systems in place for emails and for people that you're going to be drip campaigning and things like that, because those take a while. Another thing you can do in lead follow-up when you are through the book and doing your RE/MAX setup and training, go into the lead street. There's all kinds of follow-up plans. There's newsletters. There's just all kinds of stuff that you can send. It will send out automatic drips to people. So you can set all that up, personalize it, and get systems in place, because that's going to be the key for a long, successful career. Thank you.